Should be live. I gotta keep an eye on backstage then if brothers is gonna be coming in.
Can't.
Let's get rid of this. Just give it a minute. Sensational.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's live.
Is that salvation of your leg? Hey, Shalom, Mark. Shalom. See you, brother. Shalom to the Arkham.
Shalom.
All right, let's kick it off like a ball still. All right, Kal Halal Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, Waharakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and truth. I'm the brother Rakaya Kwam. I got a brother Ratazar Amath with me.
Shalom.
Should be a couple brothers jumping in, a couple other officers jumping in as well. We just wanted to, go through the scriptures. The pride of Babylon is reaching its peak, and we know what the scriptures say about pride, man. Before destruction, the hearts of men is haughty, and America and Esau in general is filled with pride and arrogance, and that arrogance is leading to their destruction. The scriptures say he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. So we see the things that they're doing in the Middle East, and they're trying to control the uncontrollable. And hey, what does the pun say? It's gonna blow up in their face.
That's it.
All right. So we're just gonna touch on that. We did the algos. We're looking at this conflict. We're looking if there's gonna be an exit ramp or if it's gonna escalate. And all we can do is watch as well as pray, and see how these prophecies go down. All right. But one thing's for sure, Babylon's through. All right. Whether it's today or tomorrow or a week from now or a month, they through. All right. You got any opening comments you wanted to make?
Khan, I got this precept for you. It says Proverbs 16:18. It says, pride goeth before destruction, and the haughty spirit before a fall.
There you go. And then you can see that oozing out of America. Just that pride, that arrogance, that military pride, that military arrogance. And it's gonna be their downfall. It always is. That's just how the game is played. All right. Once you let arrogance and pride creep in, it's pretty much a wrap for you. It's an algorithm. So I wanted to. Man's asking to send a link. I'll put it in the group. 1 second out.
Okay. And that's it. If I can say whilst you're doing that, it's like the word that I love is hubris, right? Which when you look into that word hubris, it's going into extreme pride. Right, which is what this Edomite has. He's got extreme pride, man. Right.
Yep. That's right, and you see that with Trump and his cabinet and all of his sycophants. It's just propaganda and pride, like just bare wicked talk. On the streets, we call it man's talking wicked. When a man's just talking the most, talking the hardest, like he can't be touched, like he God or something. That's how they're talking. Like only the Most High could fight a forever war. Who do you think you are? Like he got unlimited power or something. These people are insane. Like meanwhile, their bases are getting destroyed out here. So our brother should pop in a minute. We wanted to restart off with this because we got our first social media reality TV president. So everything this guy does is tweeted out. All right. So let's read what this guy Trump said. He said, if Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, which they've already done that, but they will be hit by the United States of America. And the man talks in all caps like a gal. Yeah. 20 times harder, not 10 times, 20, I'm surprised he never said 100, right? But this is how he talks, with arrogance, with boastfulness, right? 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far. 1 second, let me close this window.
You can.
Yeah. Additionally, we will take out easily, yeah, destroyable targets that we make it virtually impossible for Iran to ever be built back. So this man's talking so wicked. He's saying they're so powerful, so destructive. 1 second. Hello?
Okay, one thing that I find funny with this is it says destroyable targets,
Yeah.
easily destroyable targets, which basically says that there are targets to these Edomites, to this system, that aren't easily destroyable, right? Which I think that's one of the things we're going to go into in this lesson, which is just how E talks, right? We always got to watch how E talks, okay? Because it's the way he speaks, he'll put in language in his speech that will try and trip you up, right? So let me grab this as an example, right? This is Psalms 50 and 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, right? So he'll speak to you in a way where you think such and such is going to happen, but actually it's the complete opposite. Okay.
Yep. Khan. Yeah, Khan. So he's talking wicked, man. He says, as a nation, again, death, fire, and fury will reign upon them. Which, the reason we're bringing this out is because it's very proud. It's a very proud statement. But the actual fact is, we know, according to prophecy, the actual nation that's going to receive such a judgment from the Most High that is never built back again is America.
That's it.
You see how the Most High works? So this guy's speaking in his pride, speaking in his arrogance, threatening a nation of 92 million people, right? In his pride, with utter judgment and destruction, when the Lord has already judged that it's actually you that's going to receive that judgment. Okay, and I got the precept right here. All right, let me read it down. Right, Isaiah 34:1, it says, come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. All right, so the Lord's got a beef with all these nations, including Babylon, America, including Iran, because they're suffering and they will suffer.
That's it.
And his fury upon all their armies. All right, so the Lord's going to use this war, as well as the return of his son, to punish the armies of these nations, all these nations. Okay, he hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood. Because there is going to be boots on the ground. That's prophecy, right? You go into 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter, it tells you about that, how the brides ain't gonna have no bridegrooms because they're gonna die in the wars. They're gonna have to put boots on the ground. They ain't gonna get it the easy peasy way, like he's talking about. They're gonna have to go through the grinder. It says, all of the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. This is talking about the nuclear destruction. And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down on Idumea, Edom, the so-called white man, beginning with America, and upon the people of my curse, to judgment. All right, because these Edomites are cursed to fail. They're cursed to destruction. And in their pride and their arrogance, that destruction eludes them. And it's not within their sight. They don't think that it's going to happen to them. But such is pride, such is arrogance. All right.
Yeah, because that's what Isaiah 47, where they're speaking about, you thought that you was a lady, right? That you was untouched, but then all these things are going to come upon you in one moment.
Yeah, you're right on that. Let's get that real quick. Yeah, they thought, oh yeah, we're just this unstoppable beast, untouchable. We got all these missiles. Isaiah 47:1, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne." Right? The throne represents the authority. Their authority in the earth is about to be taken away. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Oh, they're about to get touched. They've already started to get touched. No one's touched America like this before. No one has touched America like this. They've lost a whole bunch of bases in the Middle East, just destroyed. Right? A whole Iraq, Afghanistan didn't do nothing like this. It says, take the. He's gonna say something now?
Yeah, no, I forgot which clip it was, but it was basically going into just what is required for Iran to be getting these missiles. I think it was an Al Jazeera clip, but what it actually involved of getting a missile from Iran to some of these bases to get hit, right? Which is just like it has to pass through all manners, all different layers of quote unquote air defense systems. So the fact that these bases are being destroyed, right, just basically shows you everything that you need to know, right? That as you and Elder Ariella say, right, that Iran's got hands, man.
Yeah, they saw the weakness, and now the state of Israel is basically they're laid bare. A good video to go into that is this Scott Ritter on the Danny. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but Scott Ritter, Iran hitting U.S. bases and Israel like never before, and he basically goes into how these missile defense systems were designed in a vacuum of each other. There are a whole bunch of systems that have just been put together, but they weren't designed to work together. The Patriot system, David Sling, Iron Dome, and it just ain't working. And on top of that, it's relying on this radar infrastructure to give the early warnings, to give the interceptors a chance of intercepting these missiles. And there ain't no early warning now because Iran's destroyed all the capabilities in these different Gulf states. That's what they were doing right at the beginning of the war. So that's why now in Israel, they would have like 5-minute warning before a missile. Now they ain't getting no warning. They're blind.
Yep.
But Daddy Trump said everything's fine. It's just a complete victory.
If I may, there was a clip from, I think it was in Iraq, where basically they had this gun that's protecting the embassy, right? And the gun's basically like it sounds crazy. I'm gonna be honest when it's firing off. But then what some of the analysts were saying was like that wasn't a show of force. That was actually proof that the air defense systems have completely failed, because it's like for it to get to that gun that's basically shooting down the drones, that basically means everything before that has completely failed, and that's like the final line of defense.
Absolutely. All right. It says, "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the fire, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." Because Yahweh Shai gonna get in on this thing too.
That's right.
All right. We just carry on reading down here. Isaiah 34:6. "The sword of the Lord is filled with blood, and is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea." And that's what's coming. That's what's coming, man. A great slaughter in the land of Idumea, beginning with America. In fact, America is going to be really going to be a complete victory. It's going to be a complete slaughter, because there shall not be any remaining in America. It's going to be completely destroyed, and it will never be built again. Right? And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, right? All this wickedness that these Edomites have done to Jake, man, beginning within America, the sufferation that our people have received by the hand of Esau Edom in America, it's gonna come back to them. See, they're trying to act like there ain't gonna be no recompense for that. That you could build a nation on the blood and the suffering of the children of the Most High, and it's just gonna be cool. You just throw in some civil rights and brush it to the side, and everything's good. No. Your debt is still to be paid.
That's right.
All right, your debt is still to be paid. For it's the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of the recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Right? Who's that? Who's Zion? The 12 tribes, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You're gonna pay for every transgression that you've made against them, from the least to the greatest, to the high yellow Jakes, to the dark skinned Jakes, Jake that's on the street, Jake, any Jake you violated, you're gonna have to pay for that.
That's right.
You're going to have to pay for the pain. You're going to have to pay for the tears, the pollution. You're going to have to pay for all of it. In fact, that's also in Isaiah. My blood be upon Babylon. Listen, the Lord ain't playing, man. And they don't even know it, man. They don't even know it, man. The Lord's dead serious, man. All right. This is Jeremiah 51 and 35. It says, the violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitant of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitant of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. Yeah. Yeah, right. It's gonna come back on you, man. And it's sensational. It's sensational. And we ain't all the way there yet, but we're already titillated.
So, anyone backstage, Zaquan?
Let's have a look. No.
Okay.
Not yet. My brother's getting something from the car, and he's gonna come through.
Okay.
Right. It says, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become a burning pitch. This is talking about Babylon. All right, brother, if you want to get that up in Revelations, we can get that as well. Right? You know, the unclean and hateful bird. That's talking about America. America's gonna be that place. Same way he's talking wicked against Iran. Talking hella wicked. Beer badness. Look at this. Man said it will easily destroy targets that will make it virtually impossible for Iran to ever be built back as a nation. Again, death, fire, and fury will rain upon them. Bit of wicked man talk. That's talking the hardest, talking the most. Guess what's gonna happen to you though? And that's the arrogance, man. Having its a recompense. All right.
That's it.
It says it shall not. Oh, you got something?
Oh yeah, I've got a quick preset. This is Psalm 73 and 6. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment.
Yeah, Esau don't ramp with the violence. Esau just do the violence, right, and then just run a program and try and make it okay. You see that? Oh yeah, we just blew up a school. You know, we did or we didn't, and ain't nothing gonna come from it because they're constantly breaking their own Geneva. The Geneva Convention was designed because after the World War, they was like, okay, if we're gonna have wars, we're going to strictly stick to military targets. We're not going to target civilians. So you're not allowed to blow up hospitals and schools. You're not allowed to attack water plants, things that provide sustenance and food for the people. You're only allowed to hit military targets. But Esau's been breaking that for a long time. America's been committing war crimes. The state of Israel's been committing war crimes and transgressing the Geneva Convention. And they just do it in front of the world and then either ignore it or make up some excuse because their mindset is, well, who's going to control me for my works? Sirach, the 5th chapter. We're the one with the big guns, so we could talk wicked, we could do wickedness, we could do violence, and we'll just tell them whatever we tell them, and they'll have to get over it.
Can. And when you was talking, I was thinking about in our law, right, Deuteronomy 20, about how it speaks about when you besiege a city, like not to be destroying the trees, right, because you can eat of it and stuff like that. By basically proving that we have a war laws ourselves, certain things just you wouldn't do.
Yeah, Esau try to act like he's the humanitarian, but he's not. He's a beast, and he's going to become more of a beast as we're going to get it in the scriptures. The closer we get to his end, he's going to become more cruel, more vicious, more diabolical. So you see how he sacrificed those children, right? And he's doing double tapping, which they've been double tapping. They were double tapping back in Iraq, blowing up ambulances. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to shoot medics. So this really ain't nothing new, but Esau, he's officially double tapping now. It's crazy. All right, it says, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, meaning that landmass is just going to be a wasteland with lava pit and in the oil pit. There's going to be a scar on the earth, man, where America used to be. And it's going to be the greatest desert ever. Forever desert, talking about forever war, forever desert. And you're going to be forever extinct. How about that? How about forever? Who are you? Anyway, the smoke thereof shall go up forever, from generation to generation. It shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion. We know we got these great statues. We got great buildings. I built some of them myself. Line of rascal confusion. Flat parking lot. And the stones of emptiness. Yeah, that's going to be your memorial in the earth. The fools that thought that they could come against the word of the Most High, that they thought they could be God. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. So all the rich men and the glorified men in America, cooked. All right? That's what's going to happen to America, man. The same wicked talk that he's giving to Iran is going to come back on his own head. And that's beautiful. You got sign up?
No, that's it. But I've got the one you call from Revelation 18.
Yeah, we can link that. Yeah. Go on.
Cool. This is Revelation 18 and 2 says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
See it there. So that links it up. That links it up. That Babylon the Great, America, it's gonna get mashed up out here. But right now they're talking the wicked man talk. That's fine. All right. We're gonna see how it's gonna end. Now let me get this Right. So we did it at camp, but I thought it was so powerful I had to bring it out again. Right. See, you got the book of Sirach 10, which is a beautiful chapter, and it really goes into pride. In fact, let me read some of it because it's such a beautiful chapter. All right. Let me get this real quick. Let me see if this brother's backstage. It says, Sirach. Okay. That was timing, innit?
Okay, spirit.
Hey, Shalom Zakwan. Yahba Shem Yashab.
Hey, Shalom, man. Yahba Shem Yashab. Shalom. Everyone good?
Yeah, man.
Tawab.
Right. So Sirach 10 says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And we see what the society is all about, right? Corruption, depravity, debauchery, and that's from the head down. That's from the heads, from the elites, and the guys underneath the elites, which is these politicians, because they're not the elites; they're the puppets of the elites. And you see the grotesque nature of these individuals. You see the narcissistic, super proud character of Donald Trump. That tells you everything you need to know, right? And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. And that's why Babylon is filled with proud people from top to bottom. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them that are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. And it's funny because we just read that America is going to do the opposite of that. They're going to be uninhabited forever. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. All right, because right now Esau Edom's in authority, and it ain't profitable. The earth's in deficit. In the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. All right, now let me bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Pride is hateful before God and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. Right? This is why they don't consult the word of the Lord when they make their decisions or make their judgments. Trump will not come up and consult the word of the Lord. He'll just run off pure pride. They go by do as thou wilt. They're justified by their might.
Can I say something quick? Sorry.
Go on up.
Yeah, because we see recently when Trump was doing all these things, like he was counseling witches, right? With that Paula White and all them, they're just witches. Claiming to be part of Christianity or whatever, but they're really witches, man.
Can't. They were doing a seance.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. It says because of unrighteous dealings, right? Which Esau's everything Esau does is corrupt. It's underhanded. There's always back doors. There's always ulterior motives, right? Subversive tactics, subterfuge. That's how Esau operates. Lies. He'll make a deal and then break the deal. He'll make a law and then break the law. Chaos. He's a chaos monkey. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, right? You see how they're pumping and dumping the markets, manipulating the market, right? The kingdom is translated from one people to another, right? Because of all this wickedness, Esau's going to lose his rule. But he thinks, nah, because my IQ is so high, and I got all this witchcraft, and I got this military, that means I can rule forever. It doesn't work like that. All right, there ain't enough witchcraft that's gonna keep you in the power seat, man.
What was that? There was a beat. Was that from backstage?
Oh, the Shaq's coming. Oh yeah, I see him. Hey, shalom, Mark. Y'all Bashem and Shabrakata. Yeah, you brothers just chime in whenever you feel like. Where we at? Let me jump down here. This is all good. Right, start from verse 12. The beginning of pride is when one departed from God, and his heart is turned away from his maker. So you don't consider the Most High with anything. And that is the way of America. They don't consider the Most High. How do they not consider the Most High? They don't consider his word. They don't respect his word. Even these goofy Christians, they don't really respect the word of the Most High. The word of the Most High is something that they manipulate to meet their own ends.
It's that spirit of Cain.
Yeah. Whenever the Esau brings the Bible out, the only reason he's bringing the Bible out, he don't really care what the Bible says. He's manipulating it to say what he wants it to say. He's a demon. It says, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And you see that in America. The Batman-ism, the transgenderism, the murder, the stealing, the manifold abominations. We don't even have names for some of the abominations that's happening in America. We don't even have names. All manner of abominable acts and an abominable debauchery is within the confines of America because it's filled with pride.
That's it.
Even this guy Trump, they try, he's against the Batman-ism. First of all, Trump is a Batman, right? Let's just start from there. They're all Batmans. Yeah, America is spiritual Sodom and Egypt. They're all Sodomites, right? But this guy, Scott Bessent, who's the treasury, is a straight up out in the open sodomite with a husband and 2 adopted children.
Damn.
But this guy's the Christian Messiah. Like, get the hell out of here, man. Right? Therefore, the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. Right? I want to get down to the point. Where is it? Specific scripture. Where are we at? Because I got it up here in the chat GPT as well. 21. Right, there we go. Verse 21 says, the fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority. So that's the elect right now. The elect are learning the fear of the Lord, are being endued with that fear, that meekness, where we understand, listen, we just got to humble ourselves. We don't have no strength in ourselves. That's the lesson that we're learning. Right? We're going in the opposite direction to Esau. Esau's got all the gadgets. He's just proud. He's just running with it. He's running pride to the top. We're going in the opposite direction. We're meek.
But it was good to say they trust in chariots.
Yeah, they trust in IQ, chariots. Whereas what do we have to trust in? We're down bad. We've got to rely on the Lord. We're like, yo, it's a miracle if we get through this. Esau ain't talking about miracles. Trump ain't talking about miracles. He said this is easy. This is we got the greatest military ever, the greatest, the biggest, the fastest.
By far
ever in all eternity. You know, we got the biggest bomb, so big you wouldn't believe. It's so easy. All we do is win. That's how these men operate.
But we can win some more. We can win some more.
You know, we gotta stop ourselves from winning. You know, we gotta. You know that was. You know.
You know what? But hey, bro, I just want to make a quick point. That just shows you that these fucking Edomites ain't the people of the scriptures. Because if you read the scriptures, it's always those that are meek and humble who get the victory over the peak of pride of princes or kingdoms. You know what I mean? That's like a narrative throughout the scriptures of the humble and meek. You know what I mean? Eventually win. You know what I mean? Whether it's against Antiochus Epiphanes, whether it's us coming out of Egypt, whether it's us being in captivity, it's just the same way.
The meek shall inherit the kingdom.
I was about to say that.
These men are not meek, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Funny, man.
Esau's just drinking stout. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's spiritually gets. You know what I mean? It spiritually gets, man.
Yeah. He's moving mad on the road. You get me?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It says the fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. Roughness and pride. We brought it out of camp, so we could break it down. From the chat GPT, it goes into the meaning of roughness, right? And it says here, roughness equals harshness, cruelty, arrogance towards others. Are we not seeing that? Esau's rising up in harshness, cruelty, arrogance towards others, and it's going to get more cruel pursuant to Ezekiel 21:9, right? Esau's becoming more cruel, more arrogant as the day goes by. The ice raids, cruelty within and cruelty without, right? Pride, self-exaltation, thinking you are above others or above God. It says the message, leaders who become arrogant and abusive eventually lose their power or legitimacy. Right? It said God raises up and removes rulers. Pride destroys kingdoms and leaders. Humility preserves authority. But they don't care about humility. And Trump is the perfect example of that.
Can I get a quick preset?
Can't.
Revelation 12:12, I bring this out a lot. But it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he hath but a short time. Right, so that goes into the roughness, where his kingdom is dying, and he knows it. He knows he's on the edge. Right, he's doing more and more, and become more boastful, more prideful in order to keep his kingdom. But it's the opposite of what you need to do to keep your kingdom. But the Most High made us two manners of people. He's the opposite to righteousness.
Yeah, brother said dragon stout. Yeah, 100%. And that. Yeah, like I've real quick, right? It says here the people who argue that the United States government has become harsher and more coercive usually point to specific policies or actions. Whether they are seen as cruel depends heavily on the political perspective. And it even goes into 9/11 torture and detention practices, right? Civilian casualties from drone warfare, right? Like we mentioned before, blowing up weddings and things like that. And they're getting worse because now the AI is just like, yo, that's a building, blow it up. And it's a school and that. You know what I mean?
There's some brown people. Shoot the building.
Surveillance, security powers, right? It says how this relates to 1021. When powerful nations rely increasingly on force, coercion, and surveillance, they risk losing moral legitimacy, right? And that's what you're going to see happening more and more. As this thing gets closer to the end, them horns are going to come out. Revelations 12 and 12. Esau's going to become more cruel, more bloodthirsty, more abusive, more tyrannical. And that's the time of Jacob's trouble.
Kind of. Is it cool if I read two precepts?
Yeah. Go for it, bro.
This is Jeremiah 51 and the 7th verse. It says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And spiritually, in terms of what we're talking about, that wine and wickedness that spread throughout, all earth. Basically, right now it's really got to a point, man. All of these nations are waking up out of that drunken stupor, and are just upset at like the ways and lines of Babylon, and all the side effects that it caused throughout earth, man. You know what I mean? It's like basically everyone's realizing that these policies and ways of Esau through Babylon, especially, it brings nothing but good. It brings nothing good. You know what I mean? It just leads to death, corruption, stealing, thievery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's Satan.
Because he's Satan, man.
Esau tried to bring the falsehood that he's creating some kind of order in the world with checks and balances. But there are no checks and balances. When Esau want to do wickedness, he just does it, and he don't hold himself accountable. You got this guy netting not a real Jew, right? He's in the damn flipping war crimes court. He's wanted, but he's just rolling around like it don't matter, because it don't matter. But if he was some random, Ghanaian somewhere, Ghanaian, they would have see, look, he's wicked. Arrest him, take him to the Hague, and try him for war crimes and execute him. Didn't they? I remember back in the day they executed one Don. Was it the guy from Yugoslavia or something? Something like that. I remember back in the day. This is like 20 years ago. They had one guy up in the dam on the war crimes and executed his ass. They pretended like there's some kind of checks and balances. Like if there's wickedness or corruption or evil, then you could go to somebody, the UN or something, and make a complaint, and you're gonna get justice. That's not true. There is, like they said, there is no rules-based order. There are no rules. The rules are whatever Esau said.
It's like what people say, like, who judges the judge? You know what I mean? If Esau is the highest judge in this world, who judges him? And the answer is the Most High. But we have to weigh upon that judgment. But he thinks he can move about with impunity and just do what he wants to do, because there's no one higher than him in this earth to judge him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Illegal wars. Most of the wars Esau's done according to his own statutes is illegal.
And bro, spiritually as well, it's why the scripture calls him a fugitive and a vagabond, because right now, man, he's a fugitive, and really the only one that's going to hold him, accountable for all this wickedness, it has to be a higher power. Like, because there's no one, like, we all can't just in this flesh go to Esau. Nah, man, you've done this. Look, that's not going to work. Like, this guy has missiles, he has drones that can go into your home and take you out, bro. Like, weapons, everything. Exactly. That's why the Lord, bioweapons, every weapon, bro. He's tooled up right now. That's why the Lord is the one that's going to hold him, accountable. I have another one. I have another quick one. This is Jeremiah 50 and 23 to 24. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee. Thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. So now it's like they don't know, as it says in Psalms 73, that these are slippery places. Because there it is, it's like, my NWO agenda, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to achieve that. But he's walking right into his destruction.
That's right. Yeah, this place is corrupt, and that's why the Lord's going to set up true kings, true men of authority, true men of meekness, who are going to rule according to law. They're not going to have one law for Israel and another law for everyone else. So we can murder, steal, unjust weights, but then no, man. This is what's going to make the kingdom of heaven beautiful, because it's going to be ordered from top to bottom, and we're going to be the perfect example. We're going to live by example. We're going to be perfect. We're not going to be enforcing laws that we don't keep ourselves.
Yep. Because that's hypocrisy, right?
That's hypocrisy and corruption.
And that's what Esau is.
Just make up laws, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, in 100 years, the laws can change, go 360.
Well, that's the thing. Laws are always changing in this world. There's always additions and subtractions and all kinds of things. So what's law today could be different next year and things like this. You know what I mean? Esau's always changing things.
And they already showed everyone that, listen, if you're rich and powerful enough, the laws don't matter. You know what I mean? You could do tax evasion. You can traffic women. You could do what you want. They've already shown that. Like, listen, you could do what you want as long as you're part of the certain cabal, and nothing will happen to you. We'll even show it to you in your face. in your face. Man will even show you, okay, cool, listen, this is what we're doing, and what you gonna do about it. We will collapse the banking sector and make it. You know what I'm saying? And then all them dons are still on their yachts with the trafficked women just chilling, running away with all the money. Meanwhile, if you do the slightest thing,
it's long.
It's long for you. Wesley Snipes, you know, you see what happened? They put him in jail for that tax.
Yeah.
Took away the best years of his career.
This is 2 Moses 8:22, whose service is conversant in wind and fire, whose word is true and sayings constant, whose commandment is strong. Yeah.
A ruler's supposed to be consistent. Righteousness is supposed to be consistent. It's not supposed to change from day to day, or you know what I mean, you rest judgment when you feel like it. And that's what this society is. It's insanity, it's madness. All right. And you just watch these Edomites just up there like Trump and that, just chatting breeze. Now I wanna, because I got a couple things I wanted to touch on. I'm thinking whether I should run all right, let me run this first. Now, you brothers are gonna like this. So I'm sure you brothers saw this speech from this guy, right?
And why should Americans trust Marco Rubio to negotiate it?
Well, Marco,
This guy.
I hope it's not going to be needed, but if it's needed, we'll escort them right through. And we have the greatest mine-sweeping ability. We have the greatest ships. And
Oh my goodness, this guy makes me want to throw up.
The greatest that.
Yeah, but it's like he embodies the pride and the hubris and the narcissism of Babylon. That's who he is. He represents like that. Now, I went to the trusted artificial Idumia, right? And I asked it, I said, analyze the full transcript and highlight how Trump speaks a very proud and arrogant way. And this is what ChatGPT had to say. To analyze rhetoric fairly, it's important to separate style, how someone speaks, from policy claims, whether the claims are true. Donald Trump's speaking style, especially in press conferences, has some very distinctive patterns that can come across as boastful, dominant, or dismissive, depending on the listener. So it's going to go into it. The use of superlatives, the most ever, incredible, never seen before. Trump frequently describes actions using maximal language. Example, over the past 9 days, we have carried out some of the most powerful and complex military strikes and maneuvers the world has ever seen. Analysis uses absolute comparison, suggests unmatched historical scale. This rhetorical style projects strength and dominance, but critics interpret it as exaggeration and self-promotion, which is what it is. Right? It says personal ownership of success. Yeah. Even when discussing military operations run by institutions, the phrasing can imply personal leadership credit. Like he's the one that did it. It's me. I'm the guy. I did it.
Well, he keeps talking about how he built up the military again. Did the military disappear, or did you start from scratch?
Iran's breaking it down for you. All right. Absolute claims of destruction. Iran's Navy, Air Force, and missile launch capabilities have been decimated. Right? It's just, this is how he talks. Dismissive treatment of opponents. Everything they had is gone, including their leadership.
Yeah, but this time his son took over.
It's crazy. Threatening language.
And bro, sorry, just a quick one. It's spiritual that all these words he's using and style of speech he's using, those are going to be used against Babylon when it's destroyed. Because when Babylon's destroyed and it's that lake of fire, that's going to be the most beautiful destruction that has ever been seen. You know what I mean?
Nowhere's been destroyed like Babylon's been destroyed.
Yeah, and nowhere's been destroyed like Babylon's ever been destroyed. You know, that's the type of terminology that's going to be used when Babylon becomes a desert, man. So that's funny.
Can I get 2 precepts?
Yeah, can't.
First one is Daniel chapter 7 verse 10, right? He looks more stout, right? And I think that goes into his boldness. Trump speaks very boldly, you know, because he believes in his own lies, basically, right? Daniel 7 verse 20 said, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, right? And this little horn that came up is America, coming out of Britain, you know, coming out of those civil wars with the British, the French, and the Spanish, right? America took the place of the world leader, you know, the world superpower, and they become very boastful and very proud in that position, you know, being the world reserve currency and have the mightiest military and all these things. This is what, you know, Trump's attitude is built off, because they know they have a certain standard in the world, because they're that golden city. All right. The other one was Jeremiah 50 verse 31, and it says, "Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord God of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about them."
Yeah, man. That's it. That's the facts. Yeah. That's what's going to happen, man. So it says the overall communication style is hyperbole. He uses extreme superlatives all the time. Certainty, victory framing, right? This is how this man talks very proudly, man. Right? And then we've seen that from the analysis, it doesn't even match up. And this is what arrogance does. They're really trying to back out of this because
it's costly.
It's coming up to that 12-day period that they had before and it's even worse than that first 12-day war. You know, they're looking for an exit ramp. Let's see if Iran gives them one. But regardless,
I was going to say, because they went on to say, oh, it's going to take like 4 weeks or something like that. And it's like, oh, it's going to take longer than we thought. And then maybe 8 weeks or whatever. And then like now they're ahead of schedule again. Now it's like, well, we're always beating them. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, but these guys, that's what I'm saying. It's like living in the Twilight Zone with Esau. They said they completely destroyed these guys' capabilities 9 months ago.
Yeah. And
they said that they've set them back generations. What generations is 9 months? This is insane. This is insane. People don't really realize the level of lies and manipulation that we're under on a daily basis from these guys. Every time they open their mouth, it's just lies and arrogance. And how refreshing it's going to be to live in a world that is just truth, man. You ain't got these phony characters getting up on the TV, just chatting, just hogwash. You brothers got anything? Otherwise, I'll play this Scott.
Yeah, let me grab this real quick because you talked about truth. This is 2 Ezra 6 from 27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared.
Yeah,
can I say something quick? Right, because it mentions the faith part, right? And that's the thing, you're gonna have to, because faith is equal to trust, right? You're gonna have to trust in things in the world to come. Here, you can't trust in anything because it's all based upon lies, right? But faith is gonna flourish because you're gonna know the truth, and everything's gonna be open and for you to see.
That's right. This guy, like, he will say one thing one day, the next day they'll ask him about it, and it changed. Oh, I never said that. Oh, it's just confusion, man. Babylon is confusion. So I'm gonna play this because Scott Ritter's gonna go into how basically the American military kind of realized that they weren't keeping the Geneva Convention. So they started to basically implement processes to ensure that they stop killing civilians. And this guy Hegseth came in and said that's wokeism and stopped it.
Yeah, fuck that.
He said maximum lethality. So that's why they're blowing up schools and that. It's crazy. But again, it goes into where we said the roughness, the cruelty. All right, so let's play this Scott Ritter, man.
51. Again, James Madison, smart man, he warned us about the dangers of tyrants and the need of checks and balances. So today, when we have the Congress basically saying this isn't a war, it's a defensive operation, Congress doesn't need to be involved. That's the Speaker of the House. Congress has taken itself off the map. The Supreme Court has challenged the supremacists. I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Someone's giving feedback from their mic.
Yeah, I can't really hear it.
You can't hear it.
Feedback from their mic.
Is it? Can you hear the video at all?
It's choppy.
Or like speaker, like it's someone's speaker is loud enough where it gives feedback, so I can't really hear it. So maybe if I'm playing the video, everyone turn off their mic because we can see it better.
All right, let me try it now.
Judiciary is off the map. We're left with a tyrant.
Is that better? Must be better.
The executive. And now the executive isn't governed by the people who believe in the necessity of checks and balances, but by factions. I voted for this. I voted for tyranny. I voted for a cult of personality. I voted for a man who says that I am beholden to no laws. I only believe in my own sense of personal morality, which is problematic given the Epstein files. But being that as it may, this is a man who says he governs as a dictator. So there we are. And what are the consequences? The Geneva Conventions, 1949, were passed because of the excesses that were done under war, even by the victors. There was a recognition that even the victors went too far, that we have to protect civilian populations. It's essential that there has to be laws governing war. And these were updated in 1977, the additional protocol to the Geneva Convention. And now, there are people out there rolling around saying, oh, come on, this guy's international law. Oh, yes, but see, it was adapted and adopted by the United States Department of Defense through the Law Warfare Manual. So it's ours now. We own it. And one of the interesting things in there is they talk about targeting. They say you have to be very careful when you start targeting places to ensure that you aren't hitting civilian targets, that you've done your due diligence. And there's this thing called distinction, that you must make a distinction between military targets and civilian targets, which requires an additional level of analysis in work. This is the law. It's the law. And so we did. I can tell you, as somebody who has done this in war, there's a lot of effort goes into ensuring that the targets we hit have a military value, that they aren't civilian in nature, and that we look at the consequences of striking this target. Will there be collateral damage to civilians? And then you get into proportionality. Is the value you get from militarily from striking this target proportional to the damage you're doing to civilians? And if the answer is no, we're killing far too many civilians, then you don't bomb the target. The answer is if we don't know, we can't distinguish that this is military civilian, you don't bomb the target. Now, we had screwed up a lot during the global war on terrorism. So in 2023, the Department of Defense issued a new proclamation, a new directive called the Civilian Harm and Mitigation Response thing. And what this did is create a new layer of oversight for targeting and for planning wars. And this team's job was to go through each target and ensure that we aren't making a mistake here, that this isn't a civilian target, that this is a military target. It's what we're supposed to do under the law of war, but we got a little sloppy with it during the global war on terrorism. So we put in new regulations to say this is what we need to do if we're going to fight a war, to be compliant with our own laws and the laws of international conflict. Pete Hegseth did away with that directive, canceled it in his effort for lethality. So there is no civilian harm and mitigation response capability in America anymore. Instead, what there is a literal free-for-all. We can do anything we want. Now, y'all have heard the term double tap. Double tap is a term that's been used a lot derisively against regimes. We've accused the Syrian government of double tapping people, dropping the barrel bombs. We've accused the Iranians of double tapping. We've accused Russia of double tapping. We've accused everybody of double tap. On the first day of this conflict, we had picked out several targets to strike. We claimed we were striking targets related to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Command. One of these was the Manab Naval Base, where the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Command had warehouses and a medical facility, etc. And we struck it with 5 cruise missiles. Now, normally you'd say, okay, but you'd have confidence that the U.S. military did the right thing. Certainly, we looked to distinguish the targets to make sure that there were no crossover targets, nothing that could have been a protected target. But that unit doesn't exist anymore. Instead, what we have is artificial intelligence assisted targeting. A program called Claude, put together by Palantir, helped create these targets just out of the blue. Basically, they scan databases. They're given certain parameters. Find me facilities affiliated with the Revolutionary Guard Command who have buildings of the following dimensions. And then they turn those buildings into targets. And then the targets are assigned weaponry, etc. So the Manab Naval Facility was assigned 4 impact points. 2 impact points were warehouses of a certain dimension. 1 impact point was a building that turned out to be a medical facility, but we didn't do the distinction. So even though everybody knew it was a medical facility, I didn't, and we didn't double check it because we don't have the civilian harm mitigation response capability anymore. So we just said, put a cruise. And then another one was up there in the upper right corner, and there was a large facility there. We decided we're going to bomb that one too. So we sent 5 cruise missiles. Scout, why 5? I thought it was just 4. Now we get to the beauty of the Tomahawk Block 4. The Tomahawk Block 4 system has the capability to have a number of targets programmed into it, and it can change its targets on the way because it's communicating. But a really cool part of it is that it can loiter over a facility collecting imagery that's sent back to be evaluated, and it does the immediate battle damage assessment. Back in the Gulf War, when I was doing it, we bombed a target, we got the satellite data, and then I looked at it and said, did we achieve the result? And if not, I said reattack, and I sent it back, and it got fed back into the queue. It was bombed a day later. Took a little bit of while. Now we have immediate reattack capability with the Block 4. So the 5th cruise missile's job is to loiter over. So now the first 4 cruise missiles come in and they hit the 2 warehouse facilities. There's nothing in there. There's no secondary explosion, nothing. They're empty. They hit the medical facility. We got smoke coming out. So it wasn't empty, but it's smoking. Criteria achieved. It hit another building, collapsed it. There's smoke coming out, but more importantly, there's people moving around. Lots of people moving around. And that imagery is being sent back to the ship. And the operators on the ship are looking at it going, we got a lot of people moving around that target. A lot of people moving around that target. We hit something of importance. Reattack. And they told that cruise missile to go up to altitude and fly down. Now, the amazing thing, again, the Block 4 is a cool weapon because it's got this warhead on it that's designed to be a bunker buster. So it can blow through with the initial warhead and then come in and boom, blow up what's inside. Very lethal. Pete Hegseth loves it. I'm sure he masturbates to this weapon every freaking night. That's who he is. But now there's an additional thing that they put in there. This is the beauty of the Block 4. You see, the cruise missile has a lot of fuel in it. And that unexpended fuel was just being wasted. So the Block 4 can take that fuel, compress it, and turn it into a fuel-air explosive. Gives you a thermobaric weapons capability. So basically, you penetrate, and then you burn everything inside with this giant thermobaric explosion. It's beautiful. I mean, Pete Hegseth might masturbate twice because of that. So now we get to the reality of what happened. It was a school. The first cruise missile that hit it burst through classrooms, etc. The teachers and the majority of the students who survived, some students were casualties in the first strike, but the majority of them were ushered into the prayer hall of this facility, a prayer hall that met the dimensions of the criteria set by artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, the school's calling up parents and saying, come and get your kids. There's been a bad day here. So parents in the neighborhoods nearby come rushing to the facility. Operators look at teachers ushering children into the prayer hall, parents rushing in. And at the moment where everybody's come together, we double tapped it. We sent the cruise missile down. It burst through the prayer hall, exploded, and then the thermobaric warhead blew up, burning everybody inside. Read the stories of the parents about how they found their child. There was nothing left of my child. She had been burned to death. I only could identify her because of the remnants of the backpack. Yeah. That's what we did. We double tapped them. Pure 100% murder because Pete Hegseth decided that we needed to be more lethal. So he got away with the regulations that required the United States military to comply with, the law of war. Our own law of war.
So
that is demonic. That is demonic.
Yeah, and if I can say as well, it's like there's a point that he makes there, and he's saying it as a joke about, I bet Pete Hegseth, does that when he thinks about these weapons. But this is what the scripture says. Scripture says that he doesn't hate blood; he loves blood. Okay, and we all speak about it when these Edomites talk about weapons. Right, you see just their eyes light up, man, because that is the spirit of these devils, man.
Well, he loves death as well, he loves death, so yeah, it wouldn't be surprising.
So they basically incinerated them young girls, man. Sacrificed them, a burnt offering.
Yep.
I have a precept.
But yeah, 1 second. So that just shows you that they've become cruel because they've took away the checks and balances to so that they could just do stuff like this, man. It was at 100 over 100 young girls or whatever.
170, something like that.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. But yeah, go on now.
Yeah, this is Psalms 140. I mean, it feels like this scripture we bring it out each week, man. But Psalms 140 and 1, it says, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagineth mischiefs in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adders poison is under their lips, man. So, especially with Babylon the Great, which is Esau, but just the power structure, it's like they just love war, especially Babylon. And it's like even when it comes time for it to be exposed or called out, all they do is simply just tell lies about it, man. You know, oh, we made a mistake, or oh this or oh that. You know what I mean? Crazy.
That's man said other nations have. It could be Iran because other nations have the tomahawk. No, other American allies have the tomahawk.
Exactly.
Could be anybody.
Iran doesn't have no tomahawks, man. Then he was like, I don't know anything about it. Like, oh, why don't you know? You seem to know everything about how great the war is going. Wouldn't you? If that happened on the first day of your war, wouldn't you be concerned to find out the facts about that?
I don't care.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they don't care. You know what I mean? But then you love the children, right? You're trying to say you have the high moral high ground. You don't. Esau don't have moral high ground. They got no morals.
Well, he was nonchalant about the idea of American soldiers, you know, getting X'd off, right, from starting this war. They said, oh, there'll be more deaths, so there'll be more. You know what I mean? He don't really care about even his own guys. So as you said, if he doesn't care for his own, who would he care for? Kind of thing is.
You know, these people eat.
You know,
it's like.
Can I grab something quick?
Yeah, can't. And then you brothers, whatever you want to bring, then we'll close up because I gotta go to the plantation.
Can't. Okay. Yeah, so this is the blessing of Esau, right? Genesis 27. And it says, verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live. Everything is first and foremost about, war and death with this guy. He don't care about killing people. He don't care about taking what don't belong to him. That's how he lives, right? And thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, which he currently has the dominion, right? But his destiny is to serve his brother Jacob, which is why he's going into captivity, right? That thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. All right, so this is the current situation we're in now, with being in rulership. He's just not a suitable ruler because he's, as the brother brought out earlier, the hammer of the earth. They're doing nothing but beating down everybody, right? And this is why we need the Yahweh Shah to come and bring order and balance to the earth because he ain't doing it,
Yeah, this guy's a terrorist. Like when you're openly saying that you're gonna bomb somewhere so badly it'll never be built again, that means you're targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only way that's possible. You're not saying, oh, we're just completely destroy your military, and even then you could build it back again. So you're basically saying, listen, I'm just gonna flatten that place. You're all gonna become like that's how he's saying. They're a wicked man talk. Like openly. That's what he said. And people, oh yeah, that's cool. Nah, bro. I thought you was meant to be these good Christians. Love thy neighbor, and when you come up to the camp, it's bare love. You ever notice that? That's what I'm saying. When it comes to the Hebrew Israelites, all the love scriptures come out. Yeah, but it says abhor not the Edomite. Well, how about abhor not the Iranian, bro? Where's that?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, when it comes to us, then we need to be talking about love, and bare non-violence. And then Esau's like, yeah, I want to just destroy your country and never be born again. What?
I have a precept back. This is Psalms 11 and 5. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence is so hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be a portion of their cup. So that's Esau, man. It's starting off with Babylon. Him that loveth violence. And bro, it's true because that dude was saying that a missile probably turns them on. That's, bro, they actually love violence, bro. Like they love it. They that's them. I mean, Esau doesn't feel. Sorry, Elder God.
I was saying they love them big phallic symbols, bro.
Yeah. Esau was born and chose violence, bro.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So but you know what? But it's fitting that the scripture says, "Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be cast down." It's only fitting, like because they've gone around earth giving unspeakable examples of violence in the earth. So it's only right that Babylon goes down by extreme intent violence, and Esau as a kingdom, as a power structure, gets a hostile takeover. You know, whether it's the Russians, whoever is fitting that, all of them as a power, as a rulership on the earth, they all just get taken down by force, man, because they've all brought nothing but violence upon the earth.
Well, Esau thinks he's the king of violence. That's what he thinks, right? But it's the Most High. Yahweh is the king of violence. He's the king of terrors, right? So he's going to out violence you, man, like by far. You know?
Yeah. And remember, the scripture says, "Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood." Like Esau and his, Western imperialism, right? Has this is just built on blood. You know what I mean? It's just built on blood. Whether it's the British, whether it's the Dutch, whether it's whoever. If as long as you have a Edomite around, they just bring nothing but what the scripture says, the border of wickedness, man. And it's just established on violence. So that's why it's fitting that this whole system is going to be taken down by violence, man, especially in America.
Yep. Scripture says thus with violence.
Yep. Man's reaping what they sow.
Right. So we're gonna end it there, but this was a good video brothers found earlier too. This guy, Richard Medhurst, he did an excellent video going into the US radars, how they got wiped out by the Iranians, and he gives receipts. So check that video out. And obviously, this video with Scotty. Scotty goes into missile defense systems as well. So there's good information in the video. But yeah, man. But if brothers got any closing statements, make it. Get out of here.
Is it cool? I just end with one last scripture.
Come on.
This is Psalms 58, and 1 on down. It says, "Do you indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence in your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of the charmers, charming never so wisely. Break their teeth, O Most High, in their mouth. Break out their great teeth of the young lions, O Lord." So, you know what I mean? Like eventually, with Esau, they have a long track record of bringing nothing but death, destruction, and violence. And it's only fitting that eventually, ultimately, the Lord is going to hold them, accountable for all their wickedness, man. It's only, it's only right. So yeah, that's it, bro. So,
all right. So, and Lord willing, this has been edifying. Say, call halal, Yahweh, double honor to the apostle.
Double honor, apostle. That was great. Most of them,
Shalom.